Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Get Your Paint On this Thursday, December 5th. I'm joined here with Tony Konachek. Good morning. And
I didn't have my mic up. Good morning,
Thomas.
Hello. I wanted to call you Travis for a second. I don't know.
It's better than
Travis
Taylor.
for saying something in the chat, and it totally screwed me up because you guys both have names that start with a T. Anyways, we're going to blast right through all of our announcements for today. We have the stream schedule. Tomorrow, December 6th, we have a hobby hangout with Danny. He is doing a show on creating water effects, which is really exciting. It'll be a lot of fun. Next, we've got subscriptions. A couple things for you guys. We're still waiting on 120 subs to get a RightQuest loot coin emotes. A couple more things on this. Make sure you guys use your Amazon Prime subs. They allow us to get some extra subs easily. Between now and the end of the year, when you subscribe to a channel on Twitch, our channel, gift at least one subscription or cheer at least 300 bits, you'll unlock special holiday emotes and gift the emotes to the community.
Yeah, those are some adorable holiday emotes for you. So
Holiday
subscribe.
Emotes. So subscribe. Tomorrow is the last day for the Black Friday sale online store. The more you spend, the more you save. $20 off a $125 purchase. $20 off a $125 purchase. $25 off a $150 purchase. $50 off a $200 purchase. Mystery box sale goes through December 6th as well. You pay $60, you get $200 worth of War Machine Horde stuff and $100 of merch. This is really sweet. I've seen us doing a lot of the packing for him. I've helped pack a couple boxes.
Yeah, I've packed a
Packed
few myself.
Yeah. So these are really exciting, you guys. They look sweet. I'm jealous that I haven't bought one yet. I might get one. We'll see. We'll move on to the L5R mini crates, or the mini crate stuff in general. Last day to order. Today is December 5th. It's your last day to get Miramoto Prodigy. Make sure you sign up. This model's sweet. The exclusive bonus model you guys have through May 5th is the VIP Tengu Sensei. That's it for announcements, guys. We're rushing through this. Our model for today is Glyn Cormier. There's a fancy, fancy model over here. You can see a little bit. I'm going to adjust some things real quick. Yeah, this is a neat model.
So
a lot of stuff going on here.
There's a lot of stuff going on that model.
What are you doing? You're painting already?
Jordan
Get out of here.
refuses to tell me what color we're going to be doing anything, so I have no way to prepare whatsoever.
You gotta paint your own way, dude.
Well, you said that we were going to get the bases ready, so I was just kind of getting the jump because I know you're probably going to be faster than me anyways. So we're just throwing the battlefield brown on the bases.
I made a joke about getting it painted in the hour, and he's like, I'm going to tell everybody that you said that.
That is right. These Glyn Cormiers will be finished in the hour. You heard it here first, straight from the horse's mouth.
I'm just going to get the base out of the way so I don't have to worry about it.
Jordan, I also need you. I would like your professional opinion on my my prep job for the miniatures. And by professional opinion, I need you to tell me that I'm awesome because I tried really hard to do a good job.
I mean, these actually are some of the best prepped models that I've seen as of today.
Thank you very much.
They're all right.
Great job.
My sand is coming off a little bit. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that very candid compliment.
Tony.
Thank you.
I have not.
It's nice
as
of you.
of yet had experience with sand coming off the base. But yeah, I'm not sure what color I'm going to paint this jacket or anything with. I'm thinking about doing some like red armor or red cloak with like black armor. It'd be kind of cool.
There.
All right.
So while I was putting these together, I did notice there was a lot of detail on there. Like just there's a lot of stuff going on. So kind of like a general breakdown. Give me your thoughts on areas that you're going to focus on, how you're going to approach them, or how you think you might approach them.
So generally speaking, when I paint models, I try to start with the stuff that's on the inside first, so like the further like underneath elements are, like those are the ones that I start with first. So like, see if I can
Like the ones that would be on like a bottom layer of something, so like pants underneath the coat kind of thing?
Yeah, so like here, see how there's just like this area where this pants show through underneath this armor plate here? Like that is a good example of like what I would start with painting first. And like the face is kind of hard to get into in here. This is something I would start with painting first.
I think that Jordan wants to go with red because I already started painting this one blue.
I haven't been looking at what you're doing because I'm so focused on getting mine done.
There's a lot of like trim
Yeah.
on this model, on the armor. The filigree, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, it seems like one of the things that might happen with this model is just trying to figure out where you're going to paint all the armor stuff, where you're going to focus your armor plating efforts.
Well, if you're a Scorn player, you're in luck because you've already done a lot of
Signs
this.
is all over the place over here.
I'm just going to throw a base coat over most of her armor and jacket and see where I want to go from there.
Oh, Vanderbeest shared a bunch of subs in chat. That's awesome. Thank you.
Heck yeah, thank you for the subs.
Subs. That means Tony has to buy us subs, so thank you.
Oh yeah, Tony, where's my sub for lunch?
Is that how we do this? The sub celebration?
Yep.
Sub
We get enough subs, I buy lunch.
This is a fantastic rule. Yes, if we get to our 120 subs, we get the Riot Quest loot coin, and Jordan and I get a sub, courtesy a la Tony.
I like
I tell you what, I'll make that happen. If we can get to 120 subs, we'll get the loot coin, and I will buy you lunch.
Woo! Now I have something to be excited about.
Whoa, you didn't have anything to be excited about before? What's wrong with you?
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound so dark.
You are dark and mysterious.
Ooh, I'm enigmatic. That's super false. I am all out on the table. So Jordan, what are you doing?
I'm just painting some of these backpack bits, all the leather in here, the belt, getting in there, getting that done.
Getting
A
some
little more on screen, Jordan.
You
might want to loosen up the camera just a little bit.
Yeah, no.
Just because that way you get a little more room when you're moving around.
I want to keep it zoomed in because there's so much crazy detail on this model that it's like it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing otherwise.
I do find it interesting that you said that not only like that you actually choose what to paint by its almost physical position on the model, like you know the bottom layer is the stuff that's harder to get to, and then I can see right now you're kind of going in and getting the pouches and things on there, where Tanner is doing what I would probably go to
Big old
a little
base
more,
coat.
do the big areas first, or oftentimes I'll do things like flesh first and get those done, and then do the big base coat. So I'm curious, like in chat, how do you approach your miniature? It seems to be common that you don't want to do too many of the fine detail work early on. You get your big strokes in and then grill down. But where you start on the model, what you start painting first is kind of interesting how people do it differently.
So Jordan, is part of the reason that you do that so you can minimize touch-ups later on by getting the harder areas to access out of the way?
Yep, that is exactly it.
Do you find that that's a really big time saver?
It can be. It can be. It depends on the model.
Because I'm sure, just the more practice you have, and I know this from experience as well, that you can really minimize your touch-ups just the more comfortable you get with your brushes. Mm-hmm. But you're always going to hit something that you didn't want to hit at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you will always have touch-ups. I think it's really, really weird if you can paint a model without having to touch it up at all.
Well, because I think it's so easy to think about how you can quickly paint your model and do a good job, right? Like what Tony and I were talking about, how I'm basically painting this whole thing blue as a base coat because it's fast. But if you end up saving more time in the long run by doing what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Or both,
I want to point out Travis also gifted subscriptions. So thank you, Travis.
Mark.
T-Mark.
You're a sweetheart.
The T-Mark, thank you for the subs. He's the everyman's hero.
I wonder what
Every person's hero.
wonder what he's up to painting next. I think he just finished White de Jeanne.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Mompoc was the latest I've seen.
I can't see where I'm at, Tony.
Oh, sorry.
I can't see me.
I'm messing
probably off
around.
screen.
There
You're
we go.
John Cena. I like this Exile blue, man. This is a really good blue base coat.
Brother Chaplain Cage wants to know: is this a race, and will Tanner win?
Oh, of course
Heck,
it's always
if it's,
race.
I mean, in races, my track record so far is 0-1, so I would not mind a little redemption, but I'm going against a pro here. It's kind of daunting, you know what I mean? I've been doing this a long time, but I'm certainly not Jordan level. That's why I'm in chair number 2, but maybe someday, Jordan. Maybe someday. I'll make a break for that chair number 1. You'll walk in at
this man's trying after my.
That's right.
My livelihood over
You'll
here.
walk in and at 9:45, already be sitting there with the headset on and be like, "Here's what we're painting today, Jordan."
Dang. All right. Snap.
And then when we're done, you can go cast, and I'll go steal your office. That'll never happen.
Actually have an
That will
office.
never ever happen.
I'm just hanging out in the playtest area with all the cool cats.
I mean, that's a cool place to have your pseudo office if you don't have an office.
Yeah. Well, we're working on getting something together for me. Have a little bit more space and.
You're gonna come hang out in our little world.
Kind of, yeah.
Nice. All right.
I mean, you're a man of many hats, so your world is.
It's a big hat.
A little
It's like
different.
maybe 12 gallons.
Travis is asking for, he's going to, on his painting stream tonight, he's going to paint up a mini crate model, and he doesn't know which one he wants yet, so he's asking for suggestions from us.
Ooh, what are the options? Do you have Solomon Kane?
Pretty sure he's got everything.
It's Travis, so when he says mini crate model, I think you just get to choose one. And
Which
that's
ones have
probably
you
what he's
painted
got.
already? I think is a more
Yeah.
appropriate question.
Or which ones do you have left to paint?
I think the answer is going to be easier if we ask how many he's already painted. There's a lot of mini crate models.
I would actually like to see Hida Casada get painted up with his big old Tetsubo. Is that the name of that spiked
Yeah.
Well, I have that
bat?
guy sitting on my
It's
desk right now.
Kenobo or Tetsubo.
Tetsubo.
It's Tetsubo, pretty sure.
Oh, it doesn't have L5R. Travis.
Wait,
What
you don't have that
What
model?
you are doing?
Come on, man. How about a Shield Sister?
Ooh, it's not a bad choice either.
Let's see here. What's a good one he could do?
I was gonna say or Lady Doomreaver, but is that an exclusive or was that a mini?
That was a
crate?
con exclusive.
That was a con exclusive.
But also a good choice. I've got a couple of those.
You know what? Due to the time frame, I would say you should do Butcher Claws.
Ooh, there
Oh,
we go.
yeah.
Yup.
Also, it's just a cool model.
Brother Chaplain Cage says he sculpted a beard on his butcher in memoriam of Jordan's majestic
Hey,
former
man,
beard.
It's coming back, okay? We're getting there.
Former beard.
It's fluffy. It's not quite as
Brutal.
long as it once was, but it's getting there, okay? I'm working on it. I'm telling my beard to grow as fast as it possibly can.
Fallen empire of Jordan's
Falling
beard.
empire. Yeah. The beard pyre.
I rather enjoy this Signar Blue highlight on top of the Exile Blue. It's quite nice.
So I'm using like pretty minimal palette here. Like I've got some Thamar Black, some Scorn Red, some Battlefield Brown, and some Bloodstone.
It's popping
Basically
though.
all I'm using right now.
Are you planning to? Are you doing like Tanner, where you're painting the whole outfit in similar colors? Or are you going to do something different with the hat?
No, the hat'll be red, just like the jacket.
I'm thinking of doing the leather in kind of like an off tan rather than a conventional brown or black.
Bloodstone, man. Bloodstone's the best.
Bloodstone for leather?
Or Blood Tracker Brown, yeah.
Blood Tracker Brown?
I prefer Bloodstone personally.
You know what? I'm going to go... if I got a Bloodstone, I'll use that. Otherwise, I'll start with the Blood Tracker Brown.
I've got Bloodstone if you need it. I can roll it over.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I'd like to try it. And then I think I'm going to layer it up with some Hammerfall khaki. That's kind of the color I'm going for. It might be a little hard color transition, but with some wet layers, we can do that all right.
It's always fun to see what happens when you start kind of getting out of your hue color range, or you know, the expected blues on blues, reds on reds, that sort of thing.
I've been doing a lot of like heavy contrasted layering lately on models, like doing a dark underlayer and then doing a selective layer on top of it in a color that's a couple shades lighter, and it really like automatically accentuates a shadow. And I really like it. It looks good on like fabric, like clothes for the most part, in my opinion. I did it on the Wolf with No Name.
All right. Yep. Bloodstone is literally the best. It is my favorite color.
Literally.
Right now. Literally the best.
It makes me think of the Judas Priest song of the same name.
Stryker says that Jordan is painting up Carmen Sandiego right now.
Ooh, nice. Sure looks like it. That would be cool. We got a little red versus blue battle going on here.
Yep. It's true. All right. So it's 16 after. Making pretty good headway here.
That's pretty good.
Making pretty good headway. Okay.
I'll be curious to know, like when you start getting to the detail areas, how much it slows down, or if those go by pretty quickly too.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to be able to get the filigree done in that period of time. But I really don't want to be 0-2 in painting races. Very fiercely competitive, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to live with that.
Quasitor 8086.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out like what is part of what on this model. So part of me, if I'm like pulling it out of screenshot so I can look at it up close. Okay.
Quasitor saying he's got everything for models, but he's not even assembling it. You start playing, and then the Infernals will never be painted. Don't be a defeatist. Get that stuff painted. You can do it. Takes effort.
So the thing I was looking at is this bit right here, which I'm painting red.
Mm-hmm. Be
right
careful.
now.
It's on. Got the camera on autofocus, so you got to be right in there.
Yep. All right. So like this bit up here is actually part of her jacket, from what I can tell. She's got a scarf underneath it. So I'm gonna get in there and paint.
Get up in there. What do you like to do on top of this bloodstone, like after you've base coated with bloodstone?
All right.
If we're talking about leather.
If we're talking about leather, you said?
Yes.
I usually will shade with some form of like deeper brown, and then I'll come back over it with some some yellows or something.
Is like a battlefield brown or umbral umber, is that too dark, or is that right what you're talking about?
That's right around where you want. My suggestion usually is umbral umber with bloodstone, because it has a pretty similar level of saturation
Gotcha.
as the bloodstone.
So there's a discussion going on about what type of firearm she's holding, and I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't have.
It looks like a big old cannon.
It doesn't have the cross piece for a crossbow. It does look like some sort of hand cannon style gun. But to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what type it is. Hungerford's in the chat. Maybe Hungerford knows. That's your cue, Hungy. Oh, he says it's a holy gun. Thanks for that. That's good. Yeah.
So it's
Is that actually what it's called on the card?
It's because it puts holes in people. That's what makes it a holy gun.
It's a holy gun. It's full of holes. Puts holes in people.
Leather. Yeah, we'll do the edge of her coat. Is that same color? Very nice.
All right.
Very nice.
No Howard says, I saw that you posted a progress picture of Helga on wheels, Jordan. Any chance we could see how you did the back of the jacket? We do not have the model here in the studio right now, but if you remember, is that something that you could talk about a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I just painted so the back of her jacket has Carver on it. It's got a heart stitch on it with Carver on the back.
That's so cool.
Carver's name in the middle, and I painted it pretty straightforward. It was just a couple colors. I think I used like Menoth white base or maybe a slightly darker color for the base, and then I just highlighted it up a little bit to add a little bit of dimension. Like it's really small stitching, so there's not a whole lot of like complexity to that. It's just pull out the stitches, like base coat the stitches black, and then highlight them up with some like Menoth white base and Menoth white highlight, and that's usually fine.
So it's nothing you freehanded. It's actually sculpted onto her jacket.
Yeah, it's
okay.
sculpted on the
model. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what specifically what Noah Howard was asking for. So if it's freehanding, it's on the jacket. You'll be able to paint that yourselves. But
correct.
If it was the colors and process, that was it. Dragon Pup would like to know, on average, how long does it take to paint a Warcaster or Warlock in the studio style?
2 to 3 days.
Dang.
That's 8 hours a day as well. That's like
Correct.
a solid work day.
Do you work on like other projects while your washes are drying and stuff, or do you just crack down on that like one infantry-sized model if it's a Warcaster?
There's always stuff to work on, even if you're waiting for a glaze or a wash to dry. There's always another element of the model that you can be working on at the same time.
That's crazy. I had no idea. I figured that's something you'd have cranked off in a couple hours. Not
a studio model?
I don't mean that insulting or anything like that. I just didn't know.
No, it takes a lot of time. It's not an easy thing to just get out. So I'm mixing a little bit of this yellow ink, and I think we're going to put in a touch of Menoth white highlight into the Scorn red. Might add a little bit more yellow ink here. Or actually, I'll add some Cygnus yellow.
What you mixing
I
up?
want more, just a highlight for the red.
Ooh.
Get this like peachy color.
So you say Scorn? It's the Scorn red base mixed with Cygnus yellow.
Cygnus yellow and a little bit of yellow ink. It's gonna make this like
And
orangey color.
the yellow ink is just to kind of keep it from looking chalky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's add more saturation back to it. Doing a little bit of wet blending on here to get that color in real fast.
Real
Get the other side of the hat. Both the sides. Get that middle color.
Let's see. She have more trim on the jacket. Got some straps.
Tanner.
Yes.
Alec on Facebook is asking, with all the awesome new releases coming out, what are you looking forward to paint for your personal armies the most? What are you looking forward to that's coming soon that you don't have yet?
The number one thing on my list is Destructotron 3000.
Yeah.
I think he's just really like fun and cool. He reminds me of like a lot of robot designs that we've seen in more recent pop culture, and I think that he'll be like kind of a relief project. I don't think he's going to be too difficult to paint, but I think there's like a lot of minor creative things you could do with him, whereas some people might look at him and just go, oh, he's, mostly metallic or mostly like a smooth white android kind of color, but I really think there's going to be more that you can do with him, and I'm really excited to get my hands on one. And I just think he's real fun looking. The tiny little wheel on the bottom is great.
Yeah. Also, since we've been playtesting well before the release of Riot Quest, he has been my favorite Riot Quest model, so I've been very excited to see. Yeah, anytime we've had a chance to preview a model, I've always been trying to put in Destructotron.
Moving down the list, I also am excited for Gurglepox because he's
That's
just
the one I'm super
ridiculous
excited
and awesome.
I'm just excited to paint that model.
How could you not be?
The model's sweet.
And the treasure chests, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I have a set of
we just got some of those for the
resin
studio.
casts, and I haven't really done anything with them yet.
You
But
gotta hook me up with a set of those.
oh yeah, anytime.
I got them all prepped for our paint jams.
Ooh, nice.
Alec Luda, Jordan, have you ever painted something for studio models, and then after the picture's released, do you notice a mistake?
I mean, I think that there's always, like, by virtue of the fact that, I have a limited amount of time that I can spend on models, like, they're not ever completely, like, perfect, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we still have deadlines for photography, and
Yeah,
we have to have
like-
them finished.
Even something that I spend 100 hours on, like, that's still not perfect. Like, the totem huntress that I painted for, Nova Open, right? Like that, I started it at Gen Con, and I worked on it all the way up until the end of August, and I spent 30 to 50 hours painting it at the show. And, like, that thing's still not perfect. Like, it looks good, and I'm happy with where it is, and it's done to me. But, like, I could still spend another 50 to 100 hours on it, like, just tweaking and making it better.
Kind of makes you wonder if.
But there's, like, definitely some level of, like, diminishing returns. Like, at some point, you get to the point where the model is mostly just done, and then any more additional effort that you're putting on there is just lower and lower and lower impact, because you're focusing on things that are so small, right? Like, is this highlight exactly where it needs to be? Does it need to be, just a little bit smaller? Does it need to be shifted a couple of millimeters to the left or right? What have you? Am I, like, getting the color tone on this metal to read the surrounding atmosphere correctly? Like, is it pulling in colors from the, shrubbery around the model? Like, there's just all these, like, elements to think about, and it's just, like, you don't ever have enough time to completely replicate everything that it needs to replicate. So, in a very long-winded answer to your broad strokes question, no. Yes. There's
It
always
sounds
things that I
like
see.
almost always,
Yeah.
in some form or another.
And that's not to say that the model's not good or not finished. Like, it's finished. It's just there's always more that you can do, right? Like, doesn't matter what it is. There's always more. And the goal is for you guys to look at it and be like, this model looks great, and not have you be like, oh, well, that's, it's missing some color here or whatever, right? Like, that's the whole point. So I would say all the broad strokes issues have been taken out. That's why we have, like, an approval process and things like that, to make sure that, after looking at it for 24 hours, I don't miss something big.
Brother Chaplin Cage, on the subject of deadlines, have you ever had to work overtime to finish a model in time? And I can say, in personal experience, Jordan does what is necessary to get that model done in time.
Yep.
Jordan is a workhorse.
I don't like missing deadlines. So the answer to your question is I do everything in my power to make sure that models are done when they need to be done.
Oh, I like. So he's got a follow-up saying in his personal experience, he's noticed more mistakes from photos than looking at the model while painting. And I can say for me that's also true. Like, when I see a photo of a model, it tends to exaggerate more. It also depends, I think, on how you're looking at it. If you're taking the photo from a different vantage point than you're painting it at, like doing a lot of photography and video for models here in the studio over the years. When you get closer up to the model, so when you look at it differently, you can definitely see things. A lot of times around here, we don't like showing them up close too much, just because they don't always photograph well when you're super tight on the model.
Yeah. And also, the other thing too, like, kind of going back to the whole "is it finished" sort of deal, like, that metric is different for everybody. Like, I have a different expectation of what a model looks like when it's done than Tanner does, and he has a different one than the way Tony does. So
yeah,
it's a very, like, personal thing to, like, be in a situation where, like, I'm calling this done, because somebody else may look at it and be like, oh, it doesn't look done. But for you, it might be either the limit of your skill set, or, like, just the amount of time that you can spend, or, like, there's a lot of elements that go into that.
Yeah, well, that's intent is a lot of it. You know, you can. There's no set finished level. There's no constant deadline or finish line that works for everyone. So you know, you can spend 100 hours pinning up a model and having it look great, but it may not be practical to spend 100 hours on every model in your army.
Right.
So at some point, you just have to decide, this is the level I want to get it to, and call it done when it gets there.
Right. Because like that Totem Huntress that I was talking about, like I spent 80 to 100 hours painting that model, and I can't paint an army full of models that look like that. Like, that would just take entirely too much of my life to do.
My Winter Guard don't live long enough to deserve eyes.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, there's, it's a give and take sort of deal. But I hope that answer makes sense and answers your question. Yeah. Happy birthday,
Yes,
Hunger Boy.
I knew this from yesterday and got distracted, and I'm sorry, Hungerford. Happy birthday, dude.
Happy birthday.
Today is Hungerford's birthday. Everybody wish him a happy birthday, please.
He didn't tell me happy birthday.
Oh, dang. Oh, shots fired over from...
Wait, what did I miss?
I said he didn't tell me happy birthday, so...
Is today your birthday?
No, it was in November.
Did I say happy birthday?
Maybe? I don't know.
Okay, good.
Happy belated birthday, Tanner.
Thanks.
If you don't know, then I probably did.
At least Tony is nice to me. But that's because Tony's nice to everyone, so it doesn't make me special.
So we talked about this before the show. I'm a boiling pot of rage inside.
Mm-hmm. Could just imagine that one day where it's too much for Tony. I don't want to see that day. I hope that's in the alternate universe, not this one.
I've seen some Tony explosions before. Nothing radical. Nothing crazy. But
Did you say Tony Explosion?
yeah, Tony explosion.
Dude, if he was a wrestler, that would be his name.
Now I feel like I kind of have to become a wrestler
Explosion!
just to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you're already built for it. You're good.
Hungerford says that would be the finishing move.
The Tony Explosion?
Yeah, apparently my name is Truck Stop Tony.
Truck stop.
Truck
Why?
stop. That's great.
Right, fine.
He's also asking for your forgiveness for not saying happy birthday to you.
Said Tony threatened to shut the show down yesterday. What did I miss?
I can't remember the context now. Maybe it was
It's
like,
like
maybe it was
that,
like two, maybe it
that
was
was
a Primecast.
yesterday. This is today.
That's how it goes, you know. I don't hold on to anger or annoyance for very long.
That's very true.
Sometimes people don't think it be like it is, but
Yeah.
it do.
Tony's a great human being.
If I get irritated around the office, I'll usually just find Jordan or somebody else and just be like, and then right after I'm done talking, I'm like, okay, and I'm over it.
Yeah, he got really
Hence-
mad
hence
about
where
the
I
soap
came-
dispenser this morning.
He did. He did.
Of all the things to be mad about.
He got beat up by a soap dispenser.
Yeah. That's why his face isn't on camera today. 'Cause that soap dispenser lit him up.
Andrzej Karpinski. Jordan, are you highlighting in orange or other lighter red to avoid chalkiness? Will you make the shadows a deep brown?
So I've already done a little bit of shading with some Umbra Lumber, but I am highlighting with an orange.
And it's an orange you made, right? That's
Yeah,
your
it's
mix.
Scorn Red plus some Cygnus Yellow and yellow ink. Just because I wanted some more saturation, but I wanted to keep it in like a slightly darker tone. So
I'm moving on to the armor finally now that I've got all the base coat for leather and trim done.
yeah, you're gonna highlight that cloth.
I highlighted my cloth. Well, I layered it, but I can highlight it too.
I'm just challenging you, man.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Gotta-
You're just
gotta-
like, hey, it looks good,
gotta
but it
improve
could
you.
look better.
Okay. That's looking pretty good.
The Coney shoulder check.
Coney sold.
Oh man, he's got so many moves.
Oh man, this is good. Tony,
Yeah.
Truck stop, Tony.
truck stop, Tony. We need you to embrace your newfound.
No,
Oh, I
here's-
did it. I already have my my catchphrase.
What is it?
Beep beep.
Oh, all right, that's all
Because
right.
you do the
Beep beep. Here comes truck
Yeah.
stop, Tony.
You
All
do
right, that's
the,
fine.
The arm motion, like you're pulling the. Like
So-
you try to get truckers to honk their horn.
Here's the real deal, Tony.
Yeah.
They have actual like semi-pro wrestling where it's like the scripted, and they have it's a whole act, but they also do the quote unquote combat, and they have that locally. It's called like 3-2-1 battle or something like that. And so we need to get you. We need to rip the sleeves off of flannel, find you a nice trucker hat with a beer logo, and we're gonna enroll Truck Stop Tony into semi-pro wrestling.
That's so great.
This is an actual, literal thing that we have locally here in the Seattle area. I hear them talk about it on the radio.
That would be fun to
hear
go
about
see.
them talking on the radio.
You mean that would be fun for you to participate in while we see?
I need some.
You're our hero, Tony. You always have been.
Oh, of course, Hungerford's gone to
Rolling
multiples
goals,
of
which I
this. He
think
says
I
he's
see.
been there before.
Oh, really?
Actually,
How was it?
I think Hungerford would be one of the funnest people to go see that show with.
That checks out. I can see that.
All right, so a little bit of some sweet gold tech here,
Sweet gold tech.
folks. Yeah.
I actually really
So
want
this
to see
is
this.
like one of my favorite things to do, is when I'm base coating gold. Do you have a decent rule of gold over there? This one's pretty
A
solidified.
decent roulette gold.
I'll look.
Thanks, Tony. Right there on top, maybe?
Trying to make
Dude, cash money. How do you like that?
How's this one work?
So what does he
That was
what does he
worse
have
than
to
I got.
say about the semi-pro wrestling? Actually, I don't want to cut you off, Jordan. I'm sorry. I just
How
got
dare
excited.
you.
I got excited about the semi-pro wrestling.
So real quick, this will be fast. So the way I like to base coat gold these days, so I'll take a whole bunch of like really gold, and I'll take some bloodstone
Oh, what?
wherever I put it, and I'll mix bloodstone into it, and maybe a little bit of brown ink depending on how I'm feeling.
Why do you do that?
It helps with the opacity by turning the gold into a semi-metallic. So, great example. Thumb time.
Thumb time.
So this is how smoothly it applies when it's mixed with that bloodstone. And if you take it by itself, water it down a little bit so it applies smoothly. It's like this, which on your skin works okay, but on a model is less good. You can see right there, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty see-through.
Yeah.
But you take some of this, you get through.
Oh yeah. It gives a richer color too.
Yeah. That's why I sometimes add a little bit of like brown ink to it, is to add a little bit more saturation. And then if you want to go back over it with your really gold afterwards to get that like really nice shine, that's a super easy thing to do.
Sure, yeah.
Jordan knows so many cool art words that I don't know.
Just gotta learn, dude. Just gotta partake of the knowledge. Put
Dude,
it
I
in
want
your
to partake
brain.
in your knowledge. That's
Okay.
why I'm here.
I'm gonna share with Tanner, just so I can feel smart, the 3 art words.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
that,
ready.
That will really help with painting. So you have value,
Okay.
which is how light or dark something is. The closer it is to white, the closer it is to black,
Okay.
right? Then you have hue, which is what most people typically think about when they think of color. So whether something is more blue or more red or more yellow, that's hue.
Okay.
And then saturation is basically how much color, how bright or vibrant the color is. So you could have a red that
different
is
than
super,
value.
super vibrant, has a lot of color to it.
It's
that
highly
is-
saturated.
Yeah, or you take a lot of the color out, you still would have something reddish, but is like a real gray red, and that is not value. So you can have something that is a very dark color that has a lot of pigment and vibrance to it, and then that same color or that same value color is still really low and dark, where you've just pulled most of the color and now you have like a dark gray with like a color tint to it. So those are the three keywords for defining colors.
Thank you, Tony. I understand mildly better now.
Thank you. And thank you
Let me see if I can,
thank you for letting me do that and
Professor-
letting me feel like I know what I'm talking
Professor
about.
Truck Stop Tony.
Battlefield Brown and Umbral Umber are a really great example of like a really desaturated brown and a really saturated brown.
Watch your head, Tanner.
Oh,
So we're moving this. It's hand showing time. Where's my Umbral Umber? It's around here somewhere. There it is.
I did make sure not to wear a cap this time.
You're wearing a beanie this time.
Yeah, the beanie's fine.
So it's kind of hard to tell because they're pretty similar. But there's a noticeable amount of like warmth in this one. This is like still warm, but it's more gray. Like between these two, this is a more saturated brown.
Yeah, that's a richer color.
Yeah.
So Anano J wants to know, if you add bloodstone to your gold, what do you do for other things, other metallics like pig iron or cold steel?
Generally, I start with like you can mix grays into them. So like great coat gray is a really great example of like a good silver or like a good base to add to a silver. Which got some cold steel. I don't know if I have. I mean, you can add basically anything. It'll slightly change the color of the silver. So like, if you want a silver that's got some tinges of like blue in it. So like this is a really red model. It's got that like gold armor with the red jacket. And if I wanted like a really poppy steel that I wanted to like add some base tone to, like, I don't know, Tony, what would you think?
For something that's a red?
Yeah. Or something to oppose the red.
To oppose the red?
Yeah.
I don't like the Crixbane has a lot of green in it.
Mm-hmm. So like in the color wheel, like the opposing color to red is green, right? As you go more towards the orange spectrum, you hit more of the like teals. So you can do some like I would do somewhere in between that, right? So like an eldritch is a good example of a color that's like in between your teals and your blues. Same with like coal black is like a really dark, like low value version of that, right? So you do something in between. I think I have some coal black here. If not, I can mix something that's pretty close. We've got some exile blue and stuff here. So mix a touch of green in with that silver and mix a touch of blue. Might need a little bit more green. And you have this like really cool silver color,
Oh yeah, look at that.
right?
I mean, the awesome thing about that is once you talk about that color, you say Eldritch, and you show those bottles, and you're just like, man, my head is having a hard time processing how that's going to look. And then once you put that silver on your hand, if I didn't know that you had added those, I would not have assumed that that was the color you added to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you don't add a ton, but you add a little bit to change the color and to add a little bit of additional like material to the paint so that it's got a little bit more opacity.
And just it helps it separate from that other competing color. And the best part is, like, you can do that with any color scheme and any process.
Do we have Muddy Wash anywhere? I suppose I can use brown ink.
Probably.
It's there somewhere.
We'll let that dry a little bit more. Let me go with some more umber. Shade some more of this jacket. Just hitting some of the undersides of these folds here. Add a little bit more contrast.
The Great Foldo. I am going to start turning my brown lighter with this Hammerfall khaki.
You know what's a really good highlight for Bloodstone?
What's that?
Rucksack tan.
I do like rucksack tan for a lot of things in general.
It's just a really good like color progression to add. Sorry, guys.
So I'm kind of like preserving the interior edge of this Bloodstone and hitting some of the outside and some of the face with this khaki. And if we find a muddy wash, I may even it out with that later.
Yeah. I can also mix up my own wash and do that. I want to run a wash over this gold to help pull out some of that detail. But it's still wet, so I don't want to do that quite yet. All right, so I'm going to add some gold. Oh, wrong gold.
We got about, just a time check, we got about 15 minutes
Yep.
left.
Yeah. Not going to finish it up quite the way I would want to.
You lied to me and the fans.
Hey, remember we talked about this. Done is
What you make of
what
it?
you make of it.
Have you made it to her skin?
Yeah, I got a base coat on the skin.
Oh,
kinda.
really?
Yeah,
Dang. What'd you do it with?
just Midland flush.
Oh, okay. Jordan doesn't even tell me what we're working on anymore, guys.
No, dude, you gotta make your own way.
I'm flying solo.
I'm not flying.
We're getting
solo.
our individual paints on now. We're gonna paint a white line down the center of Tony's office.
Tony would never do that to you.
Dude, I didn't ask for permission. I'm doing this to us. You're doing this to us.
Oh no, I'm not.
We had something special.
You're doing this to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Don't gaslight me,
Oh,
Jordan.
dude, I'm gonna gaslight the heck.
This is where it really goes on.
Yeah, welcome to Privateer Press. Where all your coworkers make fun of you and everybody else.
That's not true.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
Welcome to the days of
That's
our
a bright
lives.
color.
Jordan, do you have any idea why you were named Jordan? Did your parents ever tell you?
Nope.
I was named after a Days of Our Lives character.
Cool.
It just made me think of that when I thought of the, what is it? What did they say in those commercials, or before the commercial breaks? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Like sand through the hourglass, something.
Oh, yeah.
That is
Did your mom or grandma not watch Days of Our Lives?
no.
My mom and grandma watched Days of Our Lives.
My mom did.
At least Tony knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
so,
know
I
what
don't,
you're talking
like a
about.
soap
so I
opera
don't sound insane, yeah.
She used to record them
On VHS?
On VHS.
Dude, same.
every day. And then the big thing was she would get home and drop all her stuff off. And then she basically gave me like a 15-minute period to download on her my day. And then she was like, okay, now that you've told me all the things. Like, and then it was just an hour of don't bother her while she caught up on the show.
I had an algebra teacher get mad at me once because I was gone one day. I had to stay after school to take a test, and she got mad at me because she was missing Judge Judy.
Oh my goodness, that's so great. You realize you just said that you got mad at a student because you couldn't go home and watch Judge Judy. Nice.
Priorities, right? Never mind the future of America. Not that I'm calling myself that, because we're doomed if that's the case.
Jesus.
All right. So when we get to a good
Wash.
point, we've had a couple people ask, and we have not forgotten. We're just,
Is it P3
kind of
painters?
keep it. Yeah,
Tony
think
and I
it's
did them before
time to do
the
P3
show.
painters.
So don't
Yeah.
worry about it, none, folks.
Nobody
Don't you? We know how to do this.
Nobody consults me about P3 painters.
I have a checklist that I sometimes follow.
Yeah, Tony sent me a very polite text this morning saying, "Yo, get your butt up here so we can do P3 painters."
Look, I even do most of the work. I go through and I look at stuff that I think is really neat, and then I make a big
And then I
big
tell you
pool
that
of
you're
it,
wrong.
and then Jordan and I sit and go through them, and we choose which ones we want. I make it easy.
I'm glad to know that you guys like the segment, though. It's a good makes me feel good.
It's always nice to see what people are working on,
When you were showing that gold brown mix and the other metallic mix on your thumb, and you were like, "Thumb time."
Thumb time.
I feel like we need a little or a little graphic that pops up like a word art that says "thumb time" when he does that. We're gonna go over here to the thumb.
Make it happen.
Yeah, can I get a thumb cam?
Talk
please?
to Andrew.
Dude, hell yeah, thumb cam.
Can I get a thumb cam?
Thumb cams actually.
No,
I like that. We might do that instead of palette cam.
Thumb cam.
Thumb cam.
Jordan's thumb is way more interesting than his palette.
It is.
We had
Smart.
talked earlier in the year, much earlier in the year, that about a potential part of the show where Jordan, because he as he paints as part of his job, paints on his thumb to get nice tip, check out color, all that, and so you just got this patch of colors always on his thumb, and that we would show
It's like a very
an
colorful zebra.
unwashed hand on camera and see if viewers could guess what miniature he was painting by what the color combination on his thumb was.
What's on Jordan's hands?
All right, let's pause and do P3 painters real quick.
P3 painters.
I'm not gonna pause.
Okay.
Neither
Let me
am
know. Let me know when you're ready, Jordan.
Huh?
Let me know when you're ready.
He's so
Go,
ready.
go.
Here we go.
Go.
Bam.
There's a lot of
Hey,
yelling.
oh, this purple's sweet.
Wow, that's incredible, actually.
This purple's sweet.
This
I
is
like
also
the blue
this is
glow.
like a really nice photo too.
I've been seeing a lot of the gradient arc markings too, where it kind of tapers off. It looks nice.
Yeah, I like that effect.
This is sweet. I like this. I like the tapering on the base for the arcs is sweet.
Metallics are clean. That's just the purple is really the highlight though. There, that's beautiful. It's very smooth.
Purple's tough, man.
It's my
It's a hard
favorite
color
color
to
to
paint.
paint on miniatures.
What's
hands down.
tough about purple?
It highlights sort of weird. Like purple in there's a very narrow frame where purple, the strong purple color exists, and it's a pretty dark color naturally, so it's really hard to highlight without making it look weird.
Okay.
So you have to go into a different shade. You go into a magenta to highlight it, but you never really end up with just purple.
Okay.
And you end up shading it into blue and highlighting it to magenta, and you get the cool shadows and the warm highlights. But then it just looks different. It looks like magenta. It stops looking like purple.
Okay.
So
Just gotta know when
yeah,
to quit.
it's a weird color.
Okay. Well, this is, I got to say, Benny and Brush's great job on this. This is a nice, just very striking, good, poppy paint job. And he had a few other really good photos of, I'm assuming the rest of his army that also had this similar
Yeah, I
paint
remember
scheme.
you
So,
showing me those.
yeah, so go on Instagram, check those out. They're very cool.
I like it. Good job.
All right.
Purple
On,
red.
Brushes.
on to the next one. Pshoom, Mini Mangler
Lab.
and the Go Lab.
Go Lab.
Hey, this eye glow is sick.
That's really good.
The blood's very tasteful.
Yeah, I thought so too.
You know,
I
I
like
like-
how it's just one claw.
Yeah, minimalistic utilization of blood effects. I like. It's subtle. It's not over the top, but it looks classy. It looks good. But yeah, that glow for the eyes really pops. It's really nice.
I think we got a nice back shot of the wings here.
Nice.
Looking good. I love those colors.
Like that gradient from the skin, like the fur to the feathers.
Yeah.
The gray undertones is really what I like about that blue too.
Good job, Mini Mangler. This is dope.
All right. And then our last one. This is an update.
We asked for it.
This is like an update from a previous one, and we asked for it. We got it. The painted Madross from Drakios Dragoon.
Have you seen this yet?
Oh man,
Who is in our
Bob Ross.
chat today?
Dude, it's the Bob Ross.
Yes,
This is fantastic.
that's pretty good. I like the canvases all over the base.
Yeah, down there, just all the landscapes. Now I'm gonna go through some
and
of
his
these.
javelins are also brushes in the javelin bag.
There you go. There's you get to see. He's got a little easel or something back here on the back side.
Painting some handy
Little
little. Oh, he's got paint
He's
tubes
got
on his
paint
hand.
tubes on his belt. This is the best part. This is my favorite
pallet.
part. He's got a shield as a pallet.
That's wonderful. I really
is
love
awesome.
This is
this.
amazing.
Drakios Dragoon, you're going to need to send this to me right away or I cancel the show. Thank you. And I know you're a regular viewer, so
Tony is obsessed with
that
this.
means something to you.
Tony is actually obsessed with this thing.
This thing is fantastic. I love it.
He loves it so much.
That's a great conversion too.
It
Look
is
at
a really
this.
good conversion.
Look at this.
Ooh. You gotta run that one tomorrow on Hobby Hangout. Hashtag P3 Kip Ashers.
Nice.
Just recycled material.
Yeah, we showed this
material.
model before, just after all the conversion had been done, before paint had been applied.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, so we were able to see.
Yeah,
he had it all
we
built
asked
out.
for it to be shown once it was done being
Yeah.
painted.
Very nice.
Thank you very much for
Thank
doing
you
that.
for showing us.
That's awesome.
We're glad you did.
Where are you at there, Jordan? Wow, that looks really fantastic. I'm kind of sad now.
Not bad for an hour.
Yeah, I told you. Ye of little faith.
So that's one thing I've been focusing on lately is like, worrying about color combinations and making things look good and different techniques, but really just trying to increase my speed confidence. Like really just, approaching how to do things more quickly instead of that kind of shotgun approach where I'm like, oh, I'm going to start painting here, and then go back and then do this. And who knows how long it's going to take and what it is. Like, I don't really give myself time limits, but I have been keeping track of my time a little more to see how long it takes to paint. And so
Yeah,
it's
we talked about that earlier today,
yeah,
actually.
it's been kind of making me think about, just pay attention to the process a little more, right?
Yeah. And I mean, there's like lots of corners that I cut on this, but, it looks, pretty far along as a whole.
Brother Chaplain Cage, how close are Jordan and Tanner to each other? Jordan is here in Woodinville, and Tanner is in Boston.
That's right. That's right.
And through some magic of dimensional technology, if they both stuck their arms out, they would be able to touch fingertips.
You want to touch my fingertip, Jordan?
No.
Wow. Never mind then, man.
Yeah, I'll touch fingertips with you.
Dude,
But I got short arms. It's kind of
never.
hard.
Me too, man. I like a T-Rex.
Dude, I feel like a T-Rex a lot of the time. Sorry, guys. I got short arms. I got short legs, short arms, and like a fairly long torso. So
Short
it's like-
everything. That was a
There we
sweet
go.
tip touch.
We're close enough to do that
From Boston.
from Boston.
That's right.
Yeah. Dude's in Boston.
That's also how I cast all of these miniatures here in house. I do it. I operate robots remotely from Boston to do my job in house.
And what that really means is he has a wormhole that is right next to his station, and when he's done molding something or
I'm just throwing paints
casting
everywhere.
something, he pulls it out and he just tosses it through the wormhole into a bucket on this side.
We have we're super advanced here. Our competitors aren't doing anything like this. This is very, very new technology. So every piece of resin that you or metal that you buy from Privateer Press has gone through a wormhole. As long as I made it, unless somebody in house made it, then it's just a regular piece.
Well, it's very experimental technology, so we've only got the one wormhole. Not everybody can have a
Exactly.
wormhole.
Yeah, no, not everyone can hang with the wormhole. Tanner's master
I was just lucky enough to get it because
wormhole-tician, whatever that means.
in Boston. Wormhole-tician. Can I have that roulette gold, maybe? Yeah. The one that I gave you, / Tony gave you. Well, Mr. Aggressive.
Hey, man, I could throw it at you.
Oh,
but
this thing's...
That would be actually quite aggressive. And, you're a friend, and, I don't like hurting my friends like that.
It'll be a Riot Quest throwdown.
Oh, dude, you want a Riot Quest throwdown?
Dude, I will throw down some Riot Quest anytime, bro. You want to go?
Yeah, I do want to go.
All right, let's play some Riot Quest.
Let's just stop the show early and
play some Riot Quest.
Quest.
Yeah. Guys, bonus stream.
That would be pretty funny if we were just like, time to go to lunch.
We demand
Riot
it.
Quest. That's funny. I remember when we were finishing up our lunch at Warfare Weekend, and we were just like, or no, it was in between like waiting for setup or something, and Hungerford was just like, "There's no way you guys are gonna finish a game of Riot Quest in that
And
time."
lo, we did.
Yeah, and we're just like,
Hey, you want to
"We
bet?
will." And
The box says 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I think we ended up playing like 2 games or something.
Yeah, dude. You can't stop the truly determined from playing your own game, Hungerford.
It's true. It's true. And he's in stream.
Who do you think you're talking to? A couple of amateurs? We're semi-professional at Riot Quest. There's only one professional, and we met him at Warfare Weekend, the tournament winner. He's the one Riot Quest pro.
More to be discovered shortly.
Oh, yeah.
Alec wants to know, Tanner, since you do a lot of the casting, would there be a chance you could cast a few of the lower half of the Menoth Archon in clear Monpok resin or clear
The lower
resin?
half of the Menite Archon. So here's the deal with clear resin, guys. We want to make more of it. We're having a lot of fun making it. We've made some of the Protectors and Destroyers monsters in blue and orange. Mm-hmm. If you guys want to see more parts in clear resin, if you guys want to see more colors of clear resin, it has to be supported, bottom line. We're not going to make it if people aren't buying it. So if you're coming to conventions and you see that clear resin and you're interested in it, consider picking up a monster, because it's really going to help make that decision if we're going to expand out into making. What we'd really like to do, and we've talked about this, is if it does become popular enough and becomes a feasible option, we'd like to have a small range of colors and then give you the ability to order parts in resin, right? Select your parts, select your color, and we'd have a basic range of like 7 or 8 colors or something like that. And then we could custom make individual clear colored resin parts. But we have to gauge interest first.
All depends on you.
Yes, exactly. We have to gauge interest first. We can't just full dive into that venture unless people are really going to support it. So it's definitely something we're interested in doing. It's something that we can set up, but there's got to be a market for it, is the thing.
All right. I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, I think we're about that time.
Did you really finish?
We'll let Tanner...
Dude, I haven't even got skin tone. Like, I'm over here doing base gold.
I mean, it's still drying, and there's more stuff to be done.
Can I see it?
Did you get flesh on there?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't, like, paint it super fancy, but it's there.
What a wizard. You didn't paint her hook. You had to paint her hook.
Right.
Oh, this is where I put up the big fail sign on the screen.
Wah, wah,
Well,
wah.
show's not over, folks.
Yeah.
I haven't called the curtain.
Beg to differ. We're done.
I haven't called the curtain yet.
I'm feeling pretty good about mine, though. It looks nice.
There, hook's painted. What more
Just
do you
like
want?
that. Just like that. It's
Just like
it's
that,
base coated, maybe.
Hey, you know what? It's got paint on it, sir.
Whatever. You're like those guys who are like, it's painted. There's paint on it because they sprayed it with, primer and then.
You know what? You can
an
put this in
airbrush
your
and-
army. You put this in your army,
You sure could.
and you take it to a tournament that requires fully painted. Nobody would bat an eye.
That is absolutely true.
So thank you very much.
I'm not insulting you. There's no need to be defensive.
Just saying,
Is this how we're
Okay.
going to end the show?
this is exactly how we're gonna end the show.
We're fighting now.
We're fighting.
Next time on Get Your Paint On.
Next week we'll both have black eyes.
It's yeah. We're gonna have gloves on and it's not gonna be painting.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for coming to the show this week. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Not sure what we're painting yet, but we will figure it out and talk to you about it next time. Thank you for joining us.
Subscribe to Amazon.
Subscribe.